Hey folks, Mike and McGee here. Personally, this is the most excitement I've had in a while. We are getting ready to do the big clover experiment, and one thing I have been trying to stress throughout the whole fall, I am begging you to plant crimson clover this year for one reason and one reason only. I want you to be successful growing your crops next year. I don't expect us to have a whole lot of fertilizer from the chemical companies. I just don't. So what we're doing is we're going to do an experiment with three types of clover: crimson clover, red clover, and berseem clover. Berseem. I ordered the berseem out of a company in Minnesota because I looked up online, saw this makes a little more nitrogen than crimson clover, so I'm gonna try it out. Red clover makes less than any of them. And a lot of times when people go to order crimson clover, they go in the store and they say, give me red clover. They don't get crimson clover. Red clover is not crimson clover. Do not confuse the two. They don't even look the same. They do not produce the same amount of nitrogen. So by the time we see whether this works, how it works, and we see the result, it's going to be too late for you to put out clover and do well. So I'm already telling you right now, crimson clover is not the most expensive clover in the world, but it produces nitrogen like none else. This corn right here that you see behind me, I just left 3 rows for ear corn. This whole field was full of it. Did not put a single drop of fertilizer on it, and we had corn there last year, so it shouldn't have done that good, but it did. So let me tell you, please get in your ground right now. Any month that has the letter R in it, you can plant grass and clover with good results. So I'm begging you, get out there and do it. So what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna plant the berseem clover over on this side, I'm gonna plant the crimson clover on this side, and I'm gonna plant my red in the middle. That way there's a distinct difference between the two good ones. The red is gonna be in the middle. And you might say, why are you doing red in the first place? Well, for one thing, I want you to see the difference. Number two, my brother-in-law raises the red clover up in Alberta, and he brought me quite a bit of it, and I just want to use it. I'm gonna overseed all my pasture with it. I'm gonna overseed my orchard with it. Any place where I've got deer coming through where I want them to have a little extra clover, I'm gonna overseed this winter when there's snow or frost or something on the ground. But for right now, we're getting in here and we're gonna get this done. Let's get it. got the disking done. If you wonder why I disc and I don't till, there's two reasons. Disking's faster, and disking does a coarse job, where when I plant this seed, I want it to be coarse, and I'm gonna have my boy Matt run over it with a cultipacker, and that coarseness is gonna level out somewhat and sort of cover the seed. I don't want to cover this very deep, so I'm not gonna disc it in, just gonna pack it in. If it was fixing to come about a 2-inch rain, I wouldn't even worry about packing it in, but our weather's kind of strange right now. So they've been calling for rain for a week and we haven't got any, and it's worked out for our benefit because we were cutting silage and we needed some time. We're gonna do crimson clover on this side of the field. This is crimson. We might have a total crop failure next year, but if we do, it's not gonna be because I didn't get out here and get my part done. Laziness is not a gift. All right, we got this thing plumb full. This is a solo seed spreader. I made a whole video about this seed spreader, and I am going to use this right now. I really like it. I really like it a lot. I'm going to get out here and spread this right quick. All right, here we go. Whenever I go and make real strong suggestions that you do something, I always think, what's the worst thing that could happen if they follow my advice and my prediction fails, which my prediction is going to be hard to find fertilizer. So the worst thing that can happen to you if you follow my advice is you have better crops and less money spent on fertilizer. So if you're saving money and making better crops, it's a win-win situation. And I hope my prediction does fail. I hope that there's plenty of fertilizer for everyone. Here we go. I plant this stuff a whole lot thicker than the recommended dose. I lay it to it. Clover. My brother-in-law grew this organic red clover. It will produce some nitrogen, don't get me wrong. The reason why I'm doing this experiment is just to find out in real life corn what it does. That's what I'm here to find out. And he did a great job. He's got some beautiful looking seed here. I already know it should come up because this spring it came up great for me. So I'm going to plant, and I'm going to go down the corn on both sides of this standing corn, and I'm going to plant this stuff, and I'm going to shoot it into the corn because there is plenty of exposed dirt in the corn. Not a problem there. Some sunlight is even getting through because we only have 3 rows that we left for ear corn. So anyway, I guess you could call it left for ear corn. It may end up turning into deer corn if the deer decide that they want it. I know that the raccoons have been eating it really nice, and the squirrels have been eating quite a bit of it as well. So here's red clover seed right here. This is not coated. It is just straight up seed, just as if I grew it and saved it myself. But I didn't grow it or save it myself. All right. I really appreciate him bringing this down to me from Alberta, Canada, way up in the northern regions. And his kids like to watch this channel. So I'd like to say, hey Darius, hey Molly Mae, hey Viola, hey Is one of them named Randall? Is there another one?
I don't think so.
If there is, he's too little to understand his name. Hey, Edwin, Miriam, good to see you. I'm planting your seed. Let's hope it does good. Let's hope that it makes enough nitrogen to grow me some corn next year. Let's open this up. I was very happy with how these folks handled my order. 50 pounds Berseem clover cost $115. Not bad at all. And this is the Albert Lee Seed Company. And they are in Albert Lee, Minnesota. And buddy, I called them on the phone and I got a hold of a feller and I talked to him. Just as nice as he could be, and I told him, I said, I've been trying to order online and I can't seem to make it work. And he said, well, just tell me what you want and we'll go from there. It wasn't just about 2 days later, UPS delivered it right to my door. You can't beat that. So this Berseem clover has a white flower, if I seen right. It's not a red or crimson or anything like that. It's very interesting. I've never seen one sewed up like this. I guess for shipping, they got to sew the tar out of them. They don't want it to come open. Let's see if they did it with ease of opening in mind. Well, that part so far so good. Oh, look. Paper sack inside. They did a superb job wrapping this up. And there's what the clover looks like right there, the Berseem. Of course, this is all just green print, but that's a white flower. Grown in Egypt. Okay then. Well, we're gonna see how USA grows Egyptian seed, I guess. We're gonna have Egyptian seed, Canadian seed, and United States seed all planted together. Interestingly enough. If you'll keep watching this video, I'm going to plant something out here in the clover just as soon as I get this clover planted right now. As soon as I get this done, I'm going to plant something in the clover to make the clover make more nitrogen. You don't want to miss that. Good looking seed. There is a very muggy feel in the air. There are some darker clouds back in there. I'm hoping once we get this packed, we get a good little rain shower. That would just be all right. All right, the first Berseem clover to ever be planted on this property is going in now. Let's get it. All right, we got us a little shade from the clouds and a nice little breeze blowing. So, we're gonna go with round 2 with Berseem. I make it all the way to the end and back with one load here. And I don't know if you can tell, I've got it on time lapse from most of it, but I am not standing around, buddy. I am carrying the mail down through there. Because I don't want to end up having all my seeds spread in one location and not get it all out. I can adjust this and walk slower if I have to, but I got a little bit of knee pain, but not enough to slow me down. I'm rolling. Let's do another round. All right, right, these things hold 20 pounds, so I get 3 rounds with it. With a 50-pound bag, and the last bag don't fill it up. But it does pretty good, and we're fixing to get out here and get with it again. I'm gonna get the majority of this big patch in Berseem, and that makes me mighty happy. Alright, here's the rest of our red clover. Canadian grown red clover. And I'm gonna just fill the rest of it in over there. The Berseem got the majority of this plot. I'm very happy with that. So I'm just gonna finish out with this, and I'm gonna sow some oats. Let's get it. All right, if you plant something with a clover that uses nitrogen, something that doesn't produce nitrogen, it will trigger that clover to produce more nitrogen. That's what we're going to do right now. I've got some of these organic oats that my brother-in-law grew up in Canada again, and we're going to throw them out there with that clover. And I've only got 100 pounds, so I'm going to put 50 pounds on this side of the corn, 50 pounds on that. I'm not trying to raise oats. I'm not trying to flood the market per se. I want my clover to grow. I just want to throw enough of this in there to trigger it. If it wants to be triggered, I'll trigger it. And maybe even a deer might get triggered when he come over and eats it. In the fall and the winter, this is called a food plot. In the summer, it's called a cornfield. It's a multi-purpose facility, folks. Them are some good-looking oats. My brother-in-law grows organic oats, and them are big. Big, nice oats. Oh, yeah. Them's the ones he raised that the bears didn't get. Oat fields in Canada are subject to bear attacks. Very unlike right here where I live. All right, let's go. To do another round of oats. One fill up to this entire side. So 50 pounds is going to do the entire 2 acres. That's not a lot, but I don't want to overdo it. Now, as you can see, Matthew here, he is using the cultipacker and the four-wheeler to pack it in. Moisture is sort of iffy right now, so pack it, pack it, pack it. Put it on time lapse and let you watch him. You've been watching me this whole video. Let's face it, you're sick and tired of me. You kiddos watching this, wouldn't you wish you could have his job driving a four-wheeler around a field, packing in the dirt? Yep, he got the fun job. The rest of that planted over there. Took about the rest of that spreader. I'd still got that much left over, which can go in the other cornfield, because you know I got multiple cornfields. Not gonna be a problem finding a use for it. This guy's still tearing it up. As you can see, it's really settling that ground down beautifully. Beautifully. Still uneven as far as it's got some waves in it. That's not a problem whatsoever. In the spring, we're going to mow it and turn it under and till it and plant corn. So as you can see, the corn does good. At least it did good this year. Let me tell you something. When you got corn out, you are susceptible to drought, to flood, to pests, to wind, to hail, numerous problems that can crop up. That's just something you got to live with. It's a constant. It's never going away. That's just always going to be something to deal with. But what are you going to do? You got to have it. Even if you don't raise it yourself, somebody's got to. Somebody's got to. If you eat a corn chip, somebody raised some corn. If you eat a potato chip, somebody raised some potatoes. It's better if you raise them yourself, but we all depend to some extent on society to produce some of this stuff. I don't raise everything I consume by no means, but I want to be in a place to where I would at least live. I don't want to die of starvation, and I don't want my family to either. One of the problems with being gifted with empathy, if you have the gift of empathy, you can feel the pain of others. And when people are starving to death, you feel that. And sometimes if you're really gifted with the gift of empathy, you can feel their cries in advance. I'm hoping we don't have to play this hunger game and that everybody has plenty to eat. There are people in the world right now turn their nose up at good food so much if they weren't under a roof they'd drown in the rain. That's a sign we're in good times, folks, and that's a good thing. I'm glad we're in good times, and I hope this time next year that I can say we still had another good year. We're going to do our part. We're going to plant this clover and these oats. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. That's all you can do. You have to pour your sweat into that ground, and that's the only way you're going to get anything good. Folks, I appreciate you. I'm excited because you're going to get to see some awesome clover coming up. My favorite part is when it's in full bloom in the spring and you get to see the white, the pink, which is the red clover, and the very red crimson clover. I'm excited about that. So that's all we've got for you today. We're going to get on out of here. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.